Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the People's Channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. My name is DZ. You can also catch me at NFT Alpha Show. And this is going to be a great episode. We're talking to your favorite guests about your favorite topic. And today's maybe the best channel or the best show we've ever had, the best panel we've ever had. That is for sure. And we're going to start on that top right. He likes to defeat the traders in Wall Street. It is Gareth Soloway. Then Sin City Crypto, he'll tell you about Sandbox while brushing off the sand onto the floor of the Sands Casino. Definitely check out Sin City Crypto. Then on the bottom left, at first, you know, he was just the rando in the Lambo, and he wants to rate your debate as Crypto Keeper. Then on the top left, he was at the Hawks game cheering on the blockchain, Ben Armstrong. And, you know, it ended a little soon, but real quick, how was the game? I saw you blowing up on Twitter. Everybody's like, this is BitBoy at the game.
Yeah, man, it was fun, man. We love going to those games and showing out for Atlanta. That's our hometown right here. And you know, the Hawks, they're still in the series. They're down 3-1. We had a good win on Friday night. It was great to, you know, have great seats and, you know, blessed to be on TV a bunch of times. But the Hawks, I think we need another shooter. We need a number two. We need a Robin to Trae Young's Batman.
It's not statistically impossible, but very improbable. But hey, 7 games these days for that first round. Anything goes. But we're going to be talking about this recent. Is it a fake out? What is going on with the recent pump of some of these coins? Also, you know, moving on, we're going to be talking about the Cardano block increase and $13 million in NFTs stolen. What is going on? That's right. Bored Ape Yacht Club got their Instagram hacked. A lot of people fell for the scam. We're going to be seeing what's going on with that. But before we do, it is time to talk a little market watch and what is going on with Bitcoin. Is this a fake out? And before we talk about that, don't buy Elon buys Twitter coin. Congrats. Whoever made that, you know what? You're very fast, very, very quick. I would caution against that. You know what? Maybe it's going to 5x, but don't buy it. Please don't buy it. But we have Bitcoin up 1.5%. Ethereum, look at that right there at that 3,000 level. Bitcoin right there at that $40,000 level. Gareth, what is going on with the Bitcoin charts? We saw it kind of dumping, then it started pumping. Yeah. Is this the fake out?
Yeah, so certainly it looked like that. And the interesting thing to note is that the NASDAQ, which Bitcoin has followed, case in point, constantly recently, the NASDAQ was selling off sharply overnight. This morning when Bitcoin was down, then the NASDAQ started to reverse, and then crypto just took off. Bitcoin took off. Now I'm going to give you the bear and the bull case. So we're going to look at both sides of the coin here so that everyone feels happy, and you can go and be happy with whichever angle you want to look at. So let's start with the bull case. So the bull case on the chart here is that basically every time you puncture this white trend line here, all right, you're getting bought up. So there's someone down here or buyers, who knows who it is, but every time you go below this white trend line, buyers are stepping up. So what you want to see if you're a bull, you want to see that continue to happen. You want to see Bitcoin start to move up off of that level and kind of trade back in this middle range, then attack that upper white trend line up here. The bear case is that even with the great buyers that we're seeing in this lower range down here, you still have a longer term bearish pattern. All right. So again, that concerns me. It continues to concern me. This down move with this inside bar pattern here, it notoriously, if you look at a TA book, you're going to see this pattern represented over and over again. And it basically says that 8 out of 10 times that this pattern forms, it breaks down eventually. So the bull and the bear case, each person can choose their poison and go for it.
Ooh, 4 out of 5. I do not like those odds, but yeah, we had a lot of action over the weekend. You know, Gareth, he mentioned it. We have NASDAQ falling. We had some Asian stocks also falling. S&P 500 also down. The Treasury yields are dipping. 10-year yield is just hovering above 2.8. And then we got Jerome Powell, our favorite friend, going out there highlighting the elevated prices and the 50 base point, kind of doubling down on the rate hikes. But Ben, I kind of want to ask you about Doge and its relation to Bitcoin, because we had this giant pump, and I have the chart right here. It is quite the increase. What are we looking at here? 17, 20%. So giant wick to the upside. Now, Bitcoin and Doge was, you know, you kind of mentioned it before a lot. It was used for liquidity for Bitcoin. Do you think some of these old school Doge whales are going to put any of this back into Bitcoin? Or have they already left the party at 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents?
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people have certainly left the Dogecoin party. But if you look at Dogecoin right now, and you look at the Satoshis, right now it's at 3,925 Satoshis. Okay. So it used to be like 17. It used to be like a fraction of a penny. And so what would happen is every single time that one Satoshi increase or decrease would occur with Dogecoin, like a ton of orders would get set off. So what would happen is you would see Dogecoin pump because people were putting in money to get ready to buy or sell Bitcoin. And then usually, we would see these Dogecoin pumps preclude a big Bitcoin pump. But now that the Satoshis are so high, I don't think we're necessarily seeing that anymore. I think it played a role in the earlier days of crypto. But now if you go and you look at, Shiba, for instance, Shiba is, let's see what Shiba's at right now in Satoshis. Shiba is coming in at, 619 Satoshis. So is that right? That doesn't even look right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, they added more numbers. It's basically 6 Satoshis is really what I think it works out to, because there's supposed to be 100 million Satoshis. So that's 4, 7, 10. They're like out here just adding Satoshis to some of these different coins or whatever. So, but the point here is that Dogecoin is actually a low enough level right now so that it could be one that could trigger that. But do you really expect like a lot of people to be, running to Shiba, super, volatile project to do that? I don't see it. You really want to find something that is a very low price in the top 100. You might want to look there for something that, people could trigger a lot of Bitcoin orders. But the point is, I don't think we're going to see that this time. I think Dogecoin is pumping clearly because Elon Musk bought Twitter. I don't think this has anything to do with Bitcoin. We talked about earlier on the show about how, Bitcoin could potentially, right? Bitcoin could potentially be used in these microtransactions to verify users. And this could maybe have an effect on the price. Twitter could also add Bitcoin to their books, which, could affect the price. I expect to see that maybe like a year to 2 years from now as Bitcoin bottoms and starts moving back up. I would expect to see that. So those are some hopium stories around this, but I don't think any of this today in the short term has a big effect on Bitcoin. But, we advise people not to buy meme coins. We've always drawn a difference between Dogecoin because it's earlier days and earlier utility within the larger crypto ecosystem. We've drawn a distinction between that and Shiba. But, are the best days for Dogecoin over? Well, if it actually gets utility and it is integrated into Twitter, or Twitter buys Dogecoin on its balance sheet or something like that, then yeah, Dogecoin could move massively. And if any of those things happen, it's no longer a meme coin because it has a real utility within what would be the world's biggest, crypto focused platform. Focus may not be the best word, but heavily integrated crypto platform. If Twitter does go this direction of having all of these crypto transactions be able to verify users. So it's a very fascinating time. TJ and I were talking about this morning, like now that the sale is official, it could be a good time to buy Dogecoin. But you're not buying Dogecoin because you think Dogecoin is great. You're buying Dogecoin because you believe you're going to speculate that there could be a larger integration of it into the future of Twitter based on, all of Elon Musk's exploits over the last, year to 3 years.
Yeah, I was looking at it last night. Would have maybe pulled the trigger, but it would have only been like 4 chain links worth. So, I wouldn't have really had any kind of a good pump, but maybe could have got a free chain link out of that. Now, Sin City Crypto, where do you see, Bitcoin in the short to mid term? And if it's down or kind of flat, are you hedging your bets with anything? You got anything parked in stables, some exciting alts, anything like that?
I've been eyeballing the $36,000 range. I do have some capital set aside to pull the trigger on BTC at that price target. I'm not in the camp that I think is going to go under the $30,000 mark. So for me, I'm just going to accumulate at 36,000, and I'm probably going to put some buy orders down every $1,500 or so, all the way down to 30,000. Now, as far as with what's going on with Dogecoin. I think this is definitely short term. We've seen the whole tweets going on with Elon Musk. It's always a short term pump, but they also did have the radio transmission where they used the Starlink satellites to facilitate a Dogecoin transaction. So that was a part of the pump even before they had the Elon Musk news pop out this morning. It was already starting to go up. I think it was up 14% before the news broke. So obviously not the best time to get into Dogecoin, but they do have a lot of movement. And I mean, I could see, right now on Twitter, all you have is Bitcoin as a form of tipping. But we do know that with this purchase or acquisition, Elon Musk is going to integrate his Dogecoin in there. So as I am not a fan of any meme coins, but you can't dispute the fact that this is going to definitely mean something for the Doge community. Now, as far as the meme coin industry, I think that has been that's faded out. The retail FOMO of people coming in and buying meme coins, people coming up to you on the streets asking you about is it a good time to get into SHIB and Doge. Those times are gone. But I think it'll have a resurgence. But in the short term, I think that's good for Doge. As far as BTC, just dollar cost averaging on the 1st and 15th, and I'm eyeballing that $36,000 range. I think that's going to be a great spot to pick up.
All right, well, Crypto Keeper, on that note, I kind of have a similar strategy once Bitcoin, at least at this moment, when it hits 39, I start looking for some cheap alts as my, that's a DCA target for me. Do you have a Bitcoin number for DCAing? Is this at this level I increase DCAing, or is it even now in this DCA zone? Dollar cost average, those at home who don't know.
Yeah. So I'm always buying Bitcoin, but I recently have kind of taken my foot off the gas. And for me, it's just nothing more than questioning where the market is heading. I have a low enough entry and average entry point that, it's not gonna kill me to take my foot off the gas right now. What I'm ultimately doing, because I believe that we're going to have a big opportunity at some point this year. I think it's going to be a short-lived. I've talked about this before, but I think at some point in this year, we're going to have a big opportunity. I'm going to take that opportunity when we get down below 30, which I think that we're going to start really adding. And so, but for me, it's below 30 to where I'm going to be putting my foot on the gas. For right now, I am actually continuing to buy ETH when it's down below 3,000 though.
Okay, nothing wrong with the DCing into ETH, my biggest bag, but let's talk about one of my other favorite coins, and that's Cardano. We just had IOHK. They just put out a tweet. Big update proposal was made to increase Cardano mainnet size by 8,000. It was at 80,000, now at 88,000. We're looking at a 10% increase. The Vassal hard fork coming in June. It's upgrading the transaction throughput, and with it, the volume, liquidity can all increase. And blocks is increasing the block size. That's referring to the group of transactions that is confirmed on a blockchain. If you ever seen the graphics where people trying to load on a bus and then the bus takes off with all the transactions, that is essentially what's happening here. Big upgrades or not benchmarks. We've hit 100,000 wallets in the past month, 400 new projects building in the last month, and now we are surpassing 2,000 smart contracts with Cardano. So people are saying, it's a dead coin, only a wallet. Maybe that was true in the past. I can, say I'm in the ecosystem. I'm doing things. I haven't even really gotten to DeFi yet. So Cardano is scaling out. It has been a lot easier to use. I've just seen it with my NFT transactions taking not as much time. But Soloway, let's talk a little price here. Of course, I don't even want to know about the high targets. I want you to give me the bad news here. Of course, $3. Who knows when we're going to hit that again? But it looks like it went all the way down to about 64 cents. Now we're hanging out this, this 80, 90 range. Is there a level of support where you say, it's pretty strong at this point? I feel, at least okay about, maybe a little bit of a bounce back off of this level? Is it all the way down in the 60s? Is it, at 80 cents, 75 cents? Where do you see some of these midterm bottom targets?
Yeah, so the reversal, just like with a lot of crypto today, is very powerful with Cardano. So if we just take a look, you can see again you had this nice little pierce right here, and then reversal. We're actually closing in the upper ranges of the day, or when we do close the candle today, if we're still here. So that's the positive. So if you're looking for the positive case, you want to see Cardano basically hold the lows from last March, which were around 75 cents, 77 cents. As long as it does that, this is a nice move up, big retrace, but it hasn't negated that. So again, that's the positive. The one thing you wouldn't want to see happen here is you don't want to see that 78, 77 cent break right here, because after that, there's not a lot of support down, right? So if we draw a trend line over to here, this is really where that crazy movement started to kick in, where you went up and down. And again, if you take that level out, so that if you're going to think about stopping out, right? So I think you can be long Cardano here. You just want to make sure that if it does break 77 cents or so, that's where your stop would be placed to protect your downside. And remember, trading is not only looking at the positive, but you also have to prepare for the negative, because no one's ever right 100% of the time. And by preparing for the negative, we can clip our losses much quicker.
Okay. Now, Ben, I kind of want to talk to you about their strategy. They don't have a strategy like a hard fork, with Bitcoin back in the day. It was at mid 2017, even Ethereum trying to do, they're breaking it down, but there's going to be a very large switch happening in the near future, maybe near, who knows. But Cardano, they kind of have a different strategy. They'll do a little 2% increase here, a little 5% increase here, a little switch here. They've been doing that for years at this point. Is that good enough for crypto, or are we too impatient for Cardano? Do we kind of need to wake up and it's just completely different the next day? Or is this going to be a sound strategy that, can get it into one of those top 2, top 3 L2s?
Yeah, this was the strategy in 2017 when it was created. Am I right?
Yeah.
It comes out in, I believe, September of 2017, if I remember correctly, maybe August of 2017, excuse me. And it came out with this super slow roadmap that would really begin heating up when it would really begin heating up in 2020, over the summer of 2020, which is after what? The last Bitcoin halving. So when you look at the methodical plodding along of the slow Cardano roadmap, I've always said I believe that it was literally created because Charles Hoskinson created the roadmap was created because Charles Hoskinson has been in this market for a long time, understands it. He claims it's not true, and I don't want to call the man a liar, okay? Because I love Charles, and I don't think he is a liar, but I think in some form or fashion, he knew this thing moves every 4 years. You want your most exciting stuff coming after the halving. I don't think anything that Cardano does over the next 2 years is going to matter a lick for the price. That's what we see in bear markets. None of these projects, outside of Chainlink in the last bear market and Binance Coin, had times where, those 2 coins went up massively. Everything else pretty much dropped off the face of the planet. People went back to work and they started building. So really, if you think about it, this is the way I kind of envision the Cardano roadmap. 2017, it launches. 2020, you're actually able to, it starts the process of becoming decentralized and being able to be built upon. Basically, 2017 Cardano is born. 2020, the Cardano ecosystem has its origin story, I guess. It wasn't fully out until, I guess it was, 2021, November, whatever it was. But it was starting, the birth of that ecosystem was starting in 2020. Now you look forward to when we have a halving in 2024, it is now Cardano's main job. Of course, Cardano is a protocol. It can't do anything. But, it's the people behind Cardano and Charles Hoskinson that leads the project. They have between now and approximately April of 2024 to get this ecosystem usable, effective, fast, and able to innovate. Okay, so 2017 Cardano is born. 2020 Cardano's ecosystem is born. 2024 Cardano's ecosystem comes to fruition and hits adoption and utility is finally seen of what it can do. So that's kind of how I look at it. I look at much slower steps on those roadmap. Because is it advantageous for, the Cardano price to start pumping right now? No, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to pump anywhere. And I know the Cardano people, I love Cardano. I love the ADA gang. But you get these people that are tribalistic about a coin, and they will say things like, oh, no, we're so much better. Like, we're not going to go through this bear market. We're just now getting use case and going to. Every project in history has said that,
Yeah.
And I do believe Cardano is one of the top, projects in the entire space. But, the timing is everything. The word to think about right now is accumulation.
Yeah, you live by the Satoshi, you die by the Satoshi. And we're talking the genesis of it there, but let's talk afterbirth here. And we have a bloody battle for the number 6 spot with the coins. We have brought this up over and over and over again. 33 billion, 33 billion, 33 billion. Look at Cardano fallen all the way down to 30 billion. No, now number 9, always fighting with these top 4 coins in the top 10. But Crypto Keeper, let's talk this placement. Right now, we have Cardano at number 9, beaten by XRP, Terra, and Solana. If they beat all those, now we're up to number 6. Where do you see Cardano, a year or two from now? Can it maintain this top 10 presence? Can it even climb into the top 5? Or is it going to be booted out to that in the late teens range?
Well, let's first of all, XRP Army, throw it up. The XRP is not going to be sitting where it's at right now. That's definitely going to be rising the charts as soon as this lawsuit's over. So we can bump that up, which then bumps Cardano up a spot, at least temporarily, right? But that being said, I think that Charles Hoskinson has been known to talk a lot about the fact that he says, listen, I don't care about the price. And I think some would say that, is that really the case? But I've said this before, like he's very philanthropic and he has this vision for what Cardano is going to do with banking the unbanked and the great things that he's going to do overseas and in the United States. And so I think that with his vision not being, worried about the price, so to speak, I think that it doesn't really matter in the short term. I think long term, he believes that if he can bring his vision to fruition, that naturally Cardano is going to rise up the ranks. So you're asking, what'd you ask, like the next couple years?
Yeah, let's say 2 years from now.
Okay, so 2 years puts us into 2024. I mean, at that point, the whole market should be starting to pump, and Cardano is going to go right along with it. So yeah, I would assume that it will stay as a top tier asset. It's just doing what Cardano does. Cardano bores us to death, and everybody's like, oh man, I don't know if I can take this much longer. And they complain and complain and complain, and then all of a sudden, boom, it takes off. Let's be fair. Cardano now has NFTs, which DZ, I know you're super familiar with that. And the Cardano NFTs have been more and more and more popular. So as things get built on top of, it's going to continue to do better. That's just a fact. That's the way that the crypto space works. Now, we're still in that speculation phase though. So even though it's being built on top of, hey, crypto is just like NFTs. It's still the hype train. But within the next 2 years, I would like to think that we have enough built on top of it and enough past just the pure speculation that, yeah, I think it's going to stay up there and move up the charts for sure.
All right, well, talking about hype train, Sin City, what about Cardano is getting you hype? Is it the NFTs? Is it the DeFi system expanding? Is it, maybe more and more people being onboarded? Is it, maybe grabbing some of this ETH volume and transaction? What about Cardano's got Sin City ticking?
I mean, it feels like they're growing in every single direction. I mean, there's not a single smart contract direction that they're not growing in. I mean, they have a thriving DeFi ecosystem. Their NFT platform, I think, is going to supplant Ethereum's eventually. Now, it's a bold claim, but they'd have the community, and they also have a DApp store coming out. So they're kind of going that same line that you get from like the Apple, where you have the App Store, and there you'll be able to download all your apps, and they'll take the ones that are the most used and the most popular and the ones front and center and put them there for your ease of use, instead of you having to go to CoinGecko and try to find the correct link and hope it's not a hack. Like, hey, you're gonna have a one-stop shop for all of that. On top of that, I mean, they're scaling. People are talking about them not having enough throughput, which I think is insane, because Ethereum has literally been at max capacity on their throughput for the last 5 years. And so that isn't even that. If that's your worst knock you have on Cardano, that, and also the fact that their community is just like they got pandemonium. I mean, they love the project so much that they just won't shut up about it. And you got the ERC20 converter just launched as well. I mean, like there's nothing about Cardano that I'm feeling hesitant about. But one thing. Also, they keep saying that Cardano's got this slow rollout. Now, Charles Hoskinson did just tweet out a couple days ago or last week anyways, he said things are coming fast. The things are going to be moving exponentially quicker. So I think this whole idea, the slow moving roadmap, I think it's a thing of the past. We got the Vassal hard fork, also the Hydra. Hydra is gonna scale up the throughput tremendously. So for those of you that are upset that it's not moving fast enough, hold on and put your seatbelts on.
Yeah, and I think we all know a Cardano maxi who just has that pandemonium 24/7. BJ's ears are getting hot. If you know any maxis, please. Inmates run the asylum here. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed and check out all the channels. Everyone's info is going to be in the description. Make sure you check that out. But let's talk a little NFTs. And this afternoon, some Bored Ape people maybe clicked the wrong link. We have their tweet, this official tweet right now. Our official Instagram account was hacked, posted a fraudulent link to link basically a fake website, and they stole your apes, stole your mutants, stole your kennels. For what it's worth, it does seem like they are trying to help out the people who were affected by this loss. Do not contact, don't wait for them to contact you. Email them. So, shout out to the Bored Ape community if they do, write everybody that lost some mutants or monkeys. 4 apes were lost. Talking about assets that are about $400,000 or close to. 4 apes, 7 mutants, and 3 kennels, as well as a couple other projects. So, hats off to all the people who, did fall for that. You got to be very, very careful. And it's unfortunate that it was their official Instagram that did get hacked. And the unofficial mint link got a lot of people. And this isn't the first one. On April Fool's Day, their Discord was hacked. 4 days later, they had the fake verification scam on OpenSea. A lot of people fell for that. So we're seeing it is a meme that the Bored Apes have maybe a little lackluster security compared to other projects, but I just think that's the nature of it with the celebrities and artists coming in. Maybe they're not blockchain first, maybe they're art first or NFTs first. But then, I mean, this is unfortunate. Ultimately, it's the end user that is opening these doors for these exploits to take place. They are the ones, signing that MetaMask pop-up or, whatever comes out. Should Bored Ape, can they do anything else? It seems like they're trying to reach out to these people. They're trying to, maybe right the wrongs. What can they do? I mean, do they have to put out a PSA every 24 hours? Do they need to put out, all caps, don't click anything? What can the Bored Ape as a team do for their members?
All they can do is put out a disclaimer, a disclaimer, a pinned message on whatever platform it is, and say, listen, we will never ask you for this, or make sure to, to find the, to see our account that has the verified tick next to it or verified check. We have certainly dealt with this a lot. I've said I quite possibly have more impersonators than any person on the planet. Obviously, Elon Musk probably has more, but his are not as dangerous because nobody actually thinks Elon Musk is talking to them. They may fall for an Elon Musk interview that's old, that's a scam on YouTube. Like we've seen some of that stuff where they want you to, the old ETH giveaway scam. But in terms of like people actually, having real impersonators that prey on people, we are certainly near the top. There's no question about that. If you follow me on Instagram, you are immediately going to be followed by tons of impersonators. You're going to get tons of DMs. It's so annoying. And I hope that Elon Musk unravels this on Twitter with the scam bots, and this leads to other platforms doing it in the future. Because once we find out how easy it is, that's a bigger case for negligence against a lot of these platforms that allow for this. But there's nothing that I can personally do about it because I'm not in charge of Twitter. I'm not in charge of Facebook. So if the policies that they have allow for all these scammers and impersonators, unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do about it other than to offer a disclaimer and to tell people I'll never contact you on social media. I very rarely will ever respond to someone that sends me a message just because I have so many. I mean, I get, probably 500 messages on Instagram a day alone. And so, we do have a team that tries to respond to as many people as possible. but it's it's a task that can't really be done 100%. But I'm never going to reach out to you first. That's never going to happen. Now, it's frustrating to see. I had somebody that found my phone number and called me one time and was like, "Hey, just checking, like, you got the $50,000 I sent you, right?" And it was someone who had sent $50,000 into a scammer and thought they were talking to me, and like my heart just drops for this guy. But I can't refund. There have been, I'm probably gonna get a billion DMs, but there have been a few times where someone has been scammed, like for an ETH or two, and I've actually, out of my own pocket, I've given them money because I felt bad for them. But really, where we're at today, like with the BitBoy Crypto channel, like I'm too big to do. I can't do that. If I did that, then we'd be running negative because so many people get scammed out there. So I feel bad for Bored Ape community. I feel bad for Yuga Labs for having to deal with this. But unfortunately, all of these times that someone does something like this, I always tell them, you got to chalk this up to this was a very, very expensive lesson. It's sad when it's a Bored Ape because you're looking at $300,000 or $400,000 that they've just lost, but these are people that are innovators and, are on the cutting edge of technology and NFTs. That's why they have these. They'll bounce back. They'll figure out a way to get another one down the line, and they'll make sure that this never happens again. Fortunately for me, I was fished for $2,500 early on in my crypto career, or crypto, just into crypto. And that $2,500 has kept me safe ever since, because I knew now what not to do. And, I learned a lot of those tricks and just don't click stuff. And so some of those lessons down the road, they're very expensive, but they pay off. Unfortunately for a Bored Ape, it's so expensive. It's hard to make that promise, but I believe ultimately it would still be true.
All right. Now, Gareth, Yuga Labs, we're looking at an $8 billion valuation. Being that this was through their official Instagram and still fog of war, we don't know what's going on. We do know they had two-factor authentication. Makes it seem like maybe it was an insider at Instagram, actually, as scary as that sounds. But is it possible that we see a class action lawsuit against this company just by, sheer virtue of the size of their market cap? Some opportunistic lawyer is going to say, hey, maybe I smell a little nice advertising for myself here. Oh, maybe a little.
Sorry about that.
All right, there we go.
I'm here. But yeah, so first off, Ben, that was a great speech, and I think we can all sympathize. I know it's like whack-a-mole for me as well, reporting fake accounts, people messaging me and saying, hey, you said you wanted to do this, or is this really you? And it's honestly, it's never me, just like you're saying. We're way too busy to be reaching out to lots of people out there. In regards to the question, DZ, I think that the question will ultimately come down to, is there negligence in terms of the security that they were putting up? And if there isn't, if it was just a simple clicking of a link or something like that got them into that account, that's unfortunately the nature of the world that we live in terms of social media and clicking. So, bottom line is, and I'll keep it short, is that I think that there's always a chance if there's negligence, if it can be proven, there's always a lawyer that'll go after them for that. But, it probably, unfortunately, not.
All right, and we're going to do a couple quick hits. I just want to kind of get your guys' take here. Now, Sin City, should they step in? So these marketplaces, we have an OpenSea, we have LooksRare. Should they freeze these? Yes or no? Should they freeze the stolen assets? Yay or nay?
No, they shouldn't freeze the stolen assets. What Yuga Labs should be doing is freezing their trash roadmap. They just mysteriously dropped the ape coin like all of a sudden out of nowhere, and then they have this this metaverse nobody's even seen before. They're dropping the land sale next week
for sure.
Yeah, and so they're dropping the land sale next week. There's all this vague information. So apparently you just gave a bunch of tokens out in the ape coins just a couple weeks ago, and so now people are on edge. They're like, okay, when's the next handout going to come out? When's the next thing? And then lo and behold, directly from the Yuga Labs feed, you have a link to the land sale that's supposed to go on next week. So people are fumbling to make sure they don't miss out. Like, if you just had a good roadmap and you did things the right way, like a good company's supposed to do, advertise the things accordingly, put the links on multiple websites, announce the dates ahead of time, make it transparent and clear, because this is gonna happen if you're just rolling this thing out a la Manud. And then with the whole I just want to say with this whole Twitter thing that you guys were touching on here, and the fake accounts and the spots and the bots. I mean, you know, Michael Saylor made a good point. He messaged Elon Musk, and he was referencing putting in an orange check mark for these Twitter accounts, so that way basically you sign up for a subscription, you put a deposit down, and then this will alleviate a bunch of spam accounts. Millions and millions of accounts will pop up, will go away if you have to put in money to do it. So now I think that is a remedy to the social media sector as far as the scams. But I mean, I feel like it falls more on Yuka Labs than it does anybody else. That's just
all right. Final question. Opinion. One word. I'll give you a whole bunch of points. I'm sorry, we're running out of time here. Between their 6 projects, Yuga Labs projects have 40% of the ETH volume with NFTs. Is this good or bad?
Bad.
It's a lot. Bad. I agree. And you get 5 points because I had the same answer. But it looks like Ben won it. You know, he went on his tirade there. Ben, go ahead, leave the people with some parting thoughts, and, you know, maybe give a little shout out to the Hawks and maybe give them a little motivation here.
No, come on, Trey. Come on, Trey. You got to score more than 9 points. You can do it, man. Look, here's what I would say, just to kind of follow up on what I was saying about, you know, the expensive lessons. One of our investing philosophies here at Big Boy Crypto, our number 5 is navigate crypto safely. You got to learn how to do things safely. You have to learn how to hold your own crypto, and you got to understand not just how to hold your crypto, but how not to give it away for free. Almost every time I've ever known someone who's lost money in crypto, not because the price is dropping, but due to an exploit or a hack or whatever, they almost always willingly and unknowingly handed over the information to get the crypto.
All right. And no one here will message you ever. Capital letters, ever. That's all we got time for. Make sure you check out Meta Money, Frankie Candles, and of course, NFT Alpha Show just broke down a pretty hot metaverse. That's all we got, BitSquad. Easy out.